Hey, I just want to make a quick video about why I'm grateful to be an alcoholic, why I call myself an alcoholic, why I have no shame being an alcoholic. And I know there's a lot of people that do have shame with that word, calling themselves one. A lot of people are in denial about it. A lot of people, they don't like the connotation it comes with, so they avoid it and they have trouble accepting it. Now, I know I shouldn't speak for other people in their life, but that was a problem I had with my life is that when I was sober and I didn't like being an alcoholic, I was angry because deep down inside I knew I was an alcoholic and other people could go out and have drinks and I couldn't. They could go out and have drinks and there'd be no consequences. If I went out and had a drink, well, it was who knows where that led me. So I just want to talk about how I came to terms with being an alcoholic and part of and why I like calling myself that now because I can't deny what I am. I can't deny that I have white skin, right? I can't deny that I'm a guy. I can't deny that I'm 5'7.5" tall. Give myself that extra half an inch. I can't deny these things. I can't be delusional. I'm an alcoholic. When I drink, I look at my past history. If I have one drink, that leads me to two drinks, and that leads me to three, and that leads me to doing drugs. That leads me to making horrible decisions that affect me and loved ones in my life. I can't deny that. I got to get rid of that delusion. I'm an alcoholic. And if I know I'm an alcoholic, it's in the forefront now. I know I can't have a drink. If I go out for dinner with friends or with whoever, I know that I can't have a drink. I'm not sitting there conflicted in myself that, I don't like being an alcoholic, so I'm going to not call myself an alcoholic. Maybe it just kind of primes me to always be opening to have a drink because, I can have one drink this time. No, there's not going to be any problems with that. No, I'm an alcoholic. I know I'm an alcoholic. And being an alcoholic has led me to the deepest, darkest times of my life, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I'm an alcoholic because it pushed me to finally seek help in my life because I was miserable. I was miserable as I was drinking, and I was miserable as I was sober. I was just waiting for the next drink when I was sober. That's all I cared about was the next drink. Couldn't go to work without being miserable. I couldn't do anything. Couldn't go to my girlfriend's family Christmas. I needed to be drunk. Whatever the situation I found myself in, I needed to have a drink. So being an alcoholic made me realize that there's got to be a better way to this life. There's got to be. So that's when I sought out some help and through therapy, through a lot of therapy, hundreds of hours of therapy. I'm very fortunate for all the therapy that was provided for me through my employer. Through that and through Alcoholics Anonymous, I've been able to really do a lot of self-reflection and find out who I am as a person to the point where I don't need alcohol anymore to experience life to the fullest. I'm traveling right now. I'm in Vancouver. I've never been to Vancouver before. I'm able to go out into the city and just be present and enjoy what Vancouver has to offer. I am not going out waiting for my next drink. I'm not trying to seek my next drink because I know that's what I need to have a good time. I'm not bored. And I know there's people who don't drink and they're not alcoholics and they have a great time. And I finally feel that, I can be somebody who goes out and alcohol just isn't on my mind. I don't need alcohol to have a good time. So that's what, I don't really know how to make this clear or where this video is going. But because I'm an alcoholic, I'm able to see things differently now than how I used to in my previous life. I am, because of all that self-reflection, because of all the work I did, I'm no longer as self-centered. I no longer try to impress other people. I no longer am so worried about my image that I'm putting off to the world. I no longer care I'm no longer fixated about what other people are thinking all the time about me. I can just exist and be me without worrying about whether or not somebody likes me or whether or not I'm giving off a good impression. I'm just able to exist unselfishly. And I never would have been like this if I wasn't an alcoholic. I believe that if I wasn't an alcoholic, I would have been something else. I would have been a gambling addict or a video game addict, or to me it's all kind of the same thing. Like there's something deep inside of us that's lacking, or there's a lot of pain, so we soothe ourselves with some form of substance or activity, right? Some people do it with gaming or sex or gambling or substances. I just did substances, alcohol in particular, alcohol and drugs like cocaine. But if I wasn't an alcoholic, I could be out there gambling, or I could be just wasting my life playing video games, or whatever it is. But because I'm an alcoholic, alcohol has a funny way of ruining your life. So I'm grateful that alcohol was my, I want to say, choice to soothe myself, but it wasn't really a choice, because there were times where I felt like I had no choice in it. I was out of control, and the drinks found me almost. That's kind of how it feels. But yeah, I'm grateful that I'm an alcoholic, because alcoholism, the drinking of alcohol, caused a lot of consequences in my life. Where if I didn't act on changing my behaviors and changing the way I view life, then I would have ruined my life. I would have had my house taken away. I probably would have been homeless. I would have, maybe not homeless at the start. I would have went and lived with my parents, or they would have taken me in, but eventually I would have ruined those relationships. And I'm 33 right now. When I got sober, I would have been 29. Like, eventually you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, and if you're still acting like a child, your parents have a tendency to make you grow up and kick you out. So that's what would have happened. And if, I wouldn't have made those decisions, I could have ended up, well, who knows? I'm not going to hypothetically say where I would have ended up, but because alcohol was ruining my life, I had to make those decisions and make necessary lifestyle and behavioral and not personality adjustments, but I had to make all these I had to make all these adjustments in my life, and that's all because of my alcoholism. Like, I know people who play video games or they watch porn and they're addicted to it and it consumes their life, but the consequences aren't that bad for them. I mean, they are for them internally. They're horrible. I'm not trying to minimize the consequences of other addictions, but they're consequent. Like, if you're a drunk and a drug addict, it just seems like the consequences are more severe. It drives you to a rock bottom a lot sooner. People will play video games or be addicted to porn or whatever, and they'll go through their whole life without ever really reaching a bottom. Alcohol and drugs has a way of putting you right to the bottom pretty quick, especially when you start introducing drugs. So that's why I'm grateful for that, because it got me to my bottom quicker, and it got me to that moment where I had a realization that I need to change, and I need to accept that I'm an alcoholic. I need to not fight it anymore. Now that I don't fight it and I accept it, life is beautiful. Today I'm an alcoholic. Today I accept that. I'm not fighting it. I am an alcoholic just like my skin is white. It's just what I am. I'm not going to deny it. There's no negative connotation. I used to think there's a negative connotation to being an alcoholic. That was just a selfish way for me to feel good about myself. I don't like what people think of me. I don't like the way I think of myself. It was just me being selfish, because it doesn't matter what other people think of me anyways. It doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, none of that matters. But I make it matter to myself, to my ego. My ego was hurt. My pride was hurt. It's just self-centeredness. That's all ego and pride is, self-centeredness. Because of the work I've done, I've been able to get rid of that self-centeredness, that pride, that ego. All because I'm an alcoholic. I'm grateful today because I can have a relationship with my girlfriend and be very connected to her and not have to be drinking to experience life with her. I am able to have friendships. I'm able to have relationships with my parents. I'm able to go to work and do really good work and not have to go home and have a drink at the end of the day. I'm living in the present moment. I'm not worrying about tomorrow, waiting for the next day because today was such a bad day. Although I'll be realistic. Yeah, sure, I have bad days, a lot of bad days, but whatever. A bad day is a bad day. Doesn't mean I have to drink over it. Doesn't mean I have to go through my work week miserable, waiting for the weekend to come so I can finally have some fun, so I can finally let loose and let go. No. Because I'm an alcoholic and because I did the work, I did the work in therapy and did the work in AA, did the work in rehab, went to rehab, all that stuff, I am able to experience life on a whole nother level that I didn't think was possible. I always used to think that, I need to be happy. I don't need to be happy. I just need to be fulfilled. That's what all humans want, right? It's just a feeling of purposeness and fulfillment, right? Connection. That's all we really want. I always was trying to seek happiness Happiness is not the thing to seek. Happiness comes and goes like the weather. Fulfillment, that's what I get from being an alcoholic. Now, if I was still drinking, obviously, I would not be grateful to be an alcoholic. Based on my past history, not good times. But yeah, I'm just going to start probably repeating myself. Being an alcoholic, basically the cliff notes of this little talk. Being an alcoholic put me to a rock bottom real quick and allowed me to make the change, or forced me to make the changes that I needed to. Thanks for listening.